Good morning and welcome to the new edition of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. China has its most infamous Red Book, which is the guideline to the Chinese government, Chinese Communist Party. Pakistan is a good copycat. So if China has Red Book and China being its mentor, the mentee Pakistan must have its own book. So they came up with Green Book, and Green Book is nothing new. It's a strategy paper, a compilation of various directives that have been combined in this Green Book, and it is a formulation of a new war strategy. The whole of the war strategy, as reported by the intelligence sources, is a plan to intensify the war. And again, the three dimensions of the Chinese three warfares have been included in this strategy document, which has been procured by many intelligence agencies, hopefully by India, but I'm not sure, because Indian intelligence has yet to improve. Mossad, CIA, MI6, Surete, NKD, NKVD, these agencies are extremely updated, and I could have a glimpse of this plan, which reveals to intensify the warfare on three fronts. First is, of course, the three warfares include a psychological warfare. The second is media warfare, and the third is legal warfare. Objectives of the strategy have been very clearly mentioned, sporting anti-Modi and anti-RS sectors in India. Now, anti-Modi and anti-RS sector means opposition parties led by Congress, Tamil parties, and most important, Mamta's Trinamool Congress. So that's the first objective. Second is to build resistance in Jammu and Kashmir, projecting the terrorist warfare as a local movement and linking it up with Kashmiri movement with other insurgencies. Other insurgencies are promoting insurgency in Punjab, dissensions in Assam, Nagaland, Manipur, even Odisha, Utkal, they want to promote. And most important is the effort to get information from the one local person exploiting anti-India elements and use of information warfare techniques to manipulate the population in India. That has been emphasized. The main objective is manipulate the public opinion in India, interfere in everything, comment on everything, hire journalists and TV commentators to speak anti-Modi and anti-RSS sections. But then the strategy I found was full of flaws. They have not checked the facts. For example, the strategy mentioned and refers to one Lieutenant General Ravi Sani as a former R and the R department. There has been no such organization, and basically RAW, if he talks about, there has been no Lieutenant General Ravi Sani who has been former chief of RAW. As a matter of fact, there has been no General Sani at all in the Indian Army. So from where they came up with this figment of imagination is something incredible. The message sent along with the strategy document is by no other than General Kumar Javed Bajwa, the Pattern-in-Chief. And I'll read from his message. The message is very clear. The environment in South Asia is getting complex, the lines getting blurry between different kinds of warfare, from the conventional to SCW, hybrid, grey hybrid, fifth generation GW, non-contact warfare, law warfare. Then he refers to two incidents, the Balakot airstrike and annexation of Jammu and Kashmir through abrogation of Article 370 by Modi. And he says that India changed approach is now to punish Pakistan for its misdeeds. So that action, that surgical strike in Balakot, is the base of formulating the new war strategy. As I said, it's a three-pronged war, but it's no longer a conventional war. It's a hybrid war. It's a grey hybrid war. It's fifth generation GW. It's a non-contact war, and it's a legal war, and it's a public opinion manipulation war. So he projects Jammu and Kashmir as a Muslim issue, and he mentions that the world at large has condemned the human rights violation of 8 million Muslims, forgetting that if the lockdown was there, if the curfew was there, even the non-Muslims were being affected. However, that's a propaganda. And then, they go on further. This is very interesting. They are quoting from experts in warfare from Clausewitz to Brodie. And it is impressive that overall efforts to justify Pakistan Army's political role. They think that India's forward military presence as militarization of Indian Ocean enhances its power project capabilities and widens the mistrust between India and Pakistan. And then, most important is, with the proliferation, they're emphasizing on information warfare. They say that there's a proliferation on the internet and nothing can escape exaggeration, distortion and fabrication. So these are the three bases of their strategy. Exaggeration, distortion, fabrication to manipulate perceptions of crucial issues of peace and security. And then they refer to Modi's alleged statement about fomenting terror in Balochistan, Gilgit, Baltistan and threat to use nuclear weapons, which he never did. The strategy also mentions Kulbhushan's alleged confession that India is supporting terror groups in Pakistan, but then that's not a part of the war strategy. Okay. The first things are, significantly, the strategy refers to an open domestic and international fund to be created. And that fund would support Kashmiris against India, both within Kashmir and at international fora. So money would be distributed liberally in Kashmir all over the world to create or manipulate public opinion, both at home and internationally. So well-structured, elaborate information and media policies, including purchasing airtime in foreign electronic media and as far as possible in Indian TV channels to project pro-Pakistani views. They have taken very kindly to the statements of people like Shashi Tharoor, Rahul Gandhi, Mamta, who have said and opposed annexation or rather bifurcation of Jammu and Kashmir into three parts of Ladakh, Jammu and Kashmir. Then the biggest thing is that the strategy refers repeatedly to Modi and his gang. And they say that they are opposed enemies of the Indian society. And now the strategy says that the Pakistan Army should play a pivotal role in linking up Kashmiri resistance with other insurgencies in India. And then, they take another new point, which is war into non-kinetic domains, that is EW, electronic warfare, information, cyber warfare, and electronic warfare. And they say that the focus should be on the goal of extracting information from stakeholders in Kashmir, most importantly from general public facing the brutalities of the Indian army. And then, they further go on. The strategy would include formulating videos, I quote from the strategy, a single video clip or a picture can change the perception of India, which it has built so painfully and painstakingly over the years. Pakistan needs to keep work attention on Indian occupied Jammu Kashmir, and in order to do that, communication links inside the valley must be established. Now, Indian decision of communication blackout is not random, so it must be penetrated. That means that they are going to penetrate the state of Jammu and Kashmir, establish links with the key people, manipulate them, and not only manipulate them, but persuade them to take up arms, persuade them to oppose the army, persuade them to go and agitate. And on the other side, our Indian intellectuals, they are calling for more freedom for internet and 4G and 3G, like that. As a matter of fact, I see a synergy in the Pakistan news strategy and this PIL pending in the Supreme Court for quite some time now disposed of, where the Supreme Court very sensibly directed the Home Ministry to take steps. Then, the next part of the strategy is to incite local youth in its propaganda, false propaganda. They are going to influence operations from the anti-Indian elements who are opposed to Modi government. And they have formed two units in Kashmir, two front organizations, the Resistance Front and J&K Peer Punjab Peace Forum. Now, till today, no news is there, but according to the strategy paper, these organizations have already been formed in Jammu and Kashmir. Here they also refer to JNU. They say that what happened in JNU should be replicated in other universities. Efforts should be made through pseudo-liberal and pseudo-secular forces to oppose the Indian RSS government. The whole emphasis, as I said, is on that. And then, the biggest thing, they say that Twitter accounts should be established, fake ones. Facebook accounts should be established, fake or real. And use them for spreading lies. Social media, use it. This is for the first time in the history of the world that after China, any country, at least a professed democracy, is openly advocating misinformation. I know misinformation has always been a part, but that is mostly that for the Foreign Office to do, not for the armed forces, which are supposed to be very professional and very honest, full of integrity. They used false omnipresence. A Twitter account was used to project that Oman was unhappy with the treatment of Indian Muslims. And the princess had threatened to throw out Indians from that country. So that was later on denied by the Oman government. But that is being given as an instance. The way they have used omnipresence, they should use the leading figures in the Muslim countries, set up accounts in their names, and go on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, manipulating the mind of the impressionable young Indians. And now, they say they have to recruit a large number of youth to prepare false videos, false Twitter accounts, and then also use the names of the senior bureaucrats and senior army officers of India. So imagine an account being opened in the name of the Chief of Army Staff and send messages that Indian Army is directed to pick up Muslims and shoot them. 90% probably would believe it. This is a very insidious and very cunning action of the strategy. They are roping in anti-BJP elements in their efforts, both in India and abroad. And then one part of the strategy is to strike after fomenting communal tension and violence. When the Indian attention is diverted towards the communal violence, then attack India. rather than attack Kashmir. But it's a limited area. They don't want to go further, but take over Kashmir and help Khalistanis set up their Khalistan. So the whole strategy is at creating a narrative that can be extremely harmful to India. Now there is a need to counter this narrative proactively. I don't know whether RAW and Indian Intelligence Bureau has received this strategy paper or not, but it's a very damning paper. And as a matter of fact, if they have not received it, they must try to get it, but I'm forwarding a copy of this video to the government of India. And they have to work overtime now, the intelligence agencies in India, to collect information about the influence operations being launched by Pakistan and their targets. What India needs is an effective counter-influence operations to save the population, the Indian population, from the nefarious propaganda of Pakistan. Now, this green book containing the new strategy of warfare against India is a very, very well documented paper. It's a strategy which is both conventional and non-conventional. It draws heavily on the Chinese way of operations, and it combines part of the Hitler technique, repeat a lie 100 times and it will be respected as such. And they are going to misuse public and social media for that purpose, and the beauty is they are going to use the Indians for that. Now whether they have got the sleeping cells in India or not, I don't know. But then they say spend as much money as possible to create Quislings, fifth columnists. Is the Indian community listening? Would they wake up to this insidious new strategy that is going to be a damning blow to communal peace, tension and security of India? Would the Indian government wake up? These are the questions that need to be raised and discussed today. But it's a very well formulated strategy, fully positioned against the interests of India at all levels, social, political, economic and of course military. Now let's see what the response of India is going to be. Thank you.